Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Where are you? There you are.
There you are. I could actually see you this time. I only had audio last time.
Well, it's very important for me to be here with you live.
Yeah, nice live, and we got audio, sound, and vision. That's good news.
Don't want to leave my shirt unbuttoned too much, you know.
Don't want to make, the ladies kind of crazy there.
Well, the ladies that I've actually found, I have a male contingent of my fans that's a little rowdy and randy, and I don't mind. I take it as a compliment, but
yeah,
I'm like Tarzan, swing on one way, one vine at a
time. How's it going out there on the West Coast?
It's amazing. Now the rains have gone. The everything's green. It's just like Ireland. It's crazy.
It always happens at once, doesn't it? It's just like rains and pours. There's nothing more true than that.
It rained and it poured. It was raining, it was pouring. The old man was snoring, the whole 9 yards. It was great.
When it's dry, it's really dry. You got lakes drying up out there. It's
I have a habit of trying to moisten up where it's dry, if you know what I mean. I think you
do. You gotta. You absolutely have to. It's essential to life. Is just the biggest savior are probably wet wipes. That's probably the number one thing.
Yeah, back in the days early touring, when you couldn't take a shower every night, you got to get some of them chubs and give it a wipe and just go on with your day. And a yellow chub would.
Yeah,
took care of business. Dirty stuff on the road, all the dirty side. You all see the great side, everything shining on stage, but afterwards, everybody got gig butt. Ain't too pretty. So you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself, or else you wind up at the captain's galley having a supernatural shart.
You don't want that to happen. That's a tough mess to clean.
Man, don't you know it? Like to say, I don't think I've ever really crapped my pants. So going on a record here.
That's good. That's good.
Well,
yeah.
I don't drink, so alcohol is not part of my substance and diet and stuff. So I don't really have a problem with getting too drunk where I pass out and crap my pants. If I got to poop, I know just where to go. And did you know, by the way, that poop is extremely frightened by coffee?
Oh, I know. You know it.
And to chase the poop right out. Oh, coffee's here. Word.
It makes the proctologist happy.
Indeed. So tell me what's going on.
We're just here. This is the second time I'm having you on. I'm past 100 episodes on this show.
Amazing.
And, a lot of nice, talented folks like you stopping by and just, coming by for a little chat and just having a really good time.
I love it. Lots been going on since you and I talked last, and I'm sure you got some questions. So hammer me away. I'm ready for you.
Yeah. So it's been you've been releasing a new project every month this year, or through last year. New album every month. What made you want to do all that?
Do you remember the legend of Babe Ruth when he pointed to the fences and then he hit it and he actually hit it out there?
He actually did it. Yeah.
All right. Look, I got my wits about me, but I was writing all these songs. I was like, you know what? I'm going to set up something like a mountain too high to climb for anybody. 9 albums in 9 months. I felt like that was just came to me. 9, I don't know, 3 and 3, whatever. So as I started in, I was like, man, a couple months in, every month I'm finishing a record and then I'm working on the next one. It was a process. It really locked me in for 9 months. I couldn't really do much else because I kept having to work on it. And then as I wrote a couple extra songs, the very last record, Life is Beautiful, turned into a 22-song double. So all in all, 119 songs that I wrote, recorded myself, performed myself, mixed myself, put out myself, 9 months. And I didn't do that to beat everybody, but I think by doing that, I beat everybody because I don't know what genre or what artist ever done that before. And I set the bar high, but I reached it, and now I'm standing on the bar pointing up at the next bar. And that's how you do it. You climb mountains, and then you go and keep going up. Stevie Nicks turned around, saw a landslide. I don't turn around, I keep going up. So the view keeps getting better and better. And if I do say so myself, I do like the altitude.
That's nice. Yeah, Stevie hasn't done anything recording wise. She's performing all the time, but it's been like almost 40 years now
I
since the
mean,
last
think
pop one.
about that. Look, the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks show just came on. Billy Joel hadn't put out an original record since the early 90s. How do you just write Zanzibar and Rosalinda's Eyes and all that and then just stop?
Yeah.
So, and then other bands like the Rolling Stones, how come they ain't putting out like a record a year, just making some stuff up? They're like paralyzed. They can't do it. Nobody can do it. Especially you get famous and you think everybody's listening, you're paralyzed to write. I wrote all this stuff alone. I don't care who was listening. So I did it for my own pleasure. And that's why most people, your early music, early albums from an artist sounds so good. And that's what everybody goes back to because it was pure from the source because they were doing it at a time when nobody cared. Once people cared, paralysis. You're writing a line, you're like, how are people going to take this? I don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
I wrote all this knowing that people were going to hear it someday, but I just kept working on it, keeping my nose to the grindstone. And as these songs unfolded, I felt like my journey, it's all captured in there. You could tell the points where I was swept up in my Three's Company box set. But you could really, I think, hear the evolution of a songwriter. And by this last record, man, there's some songs on there that I would put up there as all timers, hooks, and really, I'm proud. And again, I ain't comparing myself to nobody because I think I outdid myself and maybe outdid everybody else in the process. So there's no need to come on with ego and hubris, which I don't have in me, when you just let the music do the talking, like Joe Parrish said. So I let all this music do the talking, and the record stands. Whether I'm getting recognized for that right now or not, it don't matter. Being ahead of your time is a little difficult, my friend. A little difficult. Van Gogh happened to handle it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You just got to do it and let it flow and not overthink it. I think that's what these legacy artists have been doing. It's like, I just lost my muse. I just want to go out there and live perform. That's where the money's at.
That's
And
it.
they're overthinking everything.
It's too
Yeah.
much. And also the record companies probably
Yeah.
they want you to do like a cycle, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have any illusions. I don't have a record company. I don't have a manager. I don't have somebody telling me a strategy. I just put the music out.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
don't need that these days. You really don't. And people get nice equipment and you could do it from your wherever you want to do it. And you got good digital equipment. Did you teach yourself a lot of the engineering? How
all
did
of it.
that work for you?
All of it. I didn't go to school. I mean, I traveled around for years playing boogie woogie piano, and I was just, I go back to, you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
found a kinship in Arya Stark. She went to become faceless and nameless, and that's kind of what I did. I kind of melted into the great melting pot out there, and by doing that, I let myself go. Right, you just let it all go, and by doing that and getting out and playing and learning, being around other people, you acquire certain skills. So I acquired a lot of playing skills, but in terms of how I engineer and produce and record, I'm doing it in a way that is very different, I think, than a lot of people would do it. Very, very low key, but it's the way that it all came together. As long as I could record my funky piano and my super funky bass and make it all sound good, get my vocals out, that's what's important. So I did it in a kind of an unorthodox way, but I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, I put my stuff on next to stuff that I use as a benchmark for quality funky music, a Jamiroquai or Cake or things that I really like,
Yeah.
where you can kind of, and that's kind of what I did. So maybe if I go back to the first record, I could hear some things I could have done differently. By the time I got to number 9, I kind of learned my flow and my role. But that's part of being an artist, So I ain't gonna go back and be like, oh, I could have done better. I did the best that I could with what I had, where I was, and that's how I just keep stepping up the mountain.
So you build that catalog. So in all, with all these releases, how many albums do you have out now beyond
Well,
these
there's
9?
9 musical albums. I also have 5 comedy records of my answering machine messages, and I'm gonna put out a couple of compilations. Next month, I'm gonna put out a compilation on my songs about the magical herbs that I utilize in my
Ooh.
creative flow. Because we got 420 coming up, and as you know, quite a holiday. to celebrate. For people like me, it's just another day, but I recognize some of the lightweights out there. It's the day they can let loose. What's really exciting is I'm going to get to go see Fish.
Oh, on 420? Fish on 420.
421, 422,
yeah, close.
and 423.
Wow, nice. Oh, that's
Hollywood Bowl. I finally put those mushrooms to use that I have. Portobello's. Come on, I'm doing a little grilling beforehand.
Sounds like a nice vacation. At the Hollywood Bowl, Fish 420. It doesn't get any better. It's paradise.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk the parking lot a little bit and maybe check out some of the hippies. You know,
I love the tie dye.
Again, I feel a kinship to the people. Even though we may not look alike or sound alike, I can go down and hang. It's my brethren. Look, I live on the planet Earth. Everywhere I go, these are my people. So the way I look at everything is everywhere I go. If the planet Earth is my home, everywhere I go, I'm home. If the planet Earth has my people on it, everywhere I go, there's my people. So that's how I relate to everybody. It's commonality. Being on the Earth, that's it. We can work from there, right? So,
oh, totally.
I look at the differences in people. I feel like if I was some sort of political leader, I would have united everybody and been like, "Hey, It's not just called the States of America. There's a word before that that's very important. Starts with the U. No, it's not untied. It's the United States of America. Right now, it's a bit untied and untethered, but I'm hoping to unite it through my funky jams."
Yeah, it gets our mind off all this garbage going on right now. We always need to have that diversion, and that's good stuff. I like Dark Side of the Moonshine. That is a really looks like a classic, and I like. Obviously, you were inspired by Pink Floyd, so
I mean, you take a play on words, but I would say that the music on the album is not redolent of any Floydiness. I don't even know. I mean, I love Pink Floyd, but I ain't trying to dip into that. Like I am the funk, bringing funk in the country and making Funktry, which is my music, was my goal. I think from the get-go, I started writing. I think the first song that I wrote of these was Big Truck, Small Penis, which was my ode to the semi-pros out there. Look, I've talked to a lot of truckers. I have great respect for 18-wheelers and drivers who drive big trucks for work. I have great respect, all right? I've been around a lot of people like that. I've been many truck stops. I know what's up. It's the people with the overpolished giant trucks that are showing they're projecting something. And in that projection, we can see something about them.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That they don't think we're seeing. So I pointed that out in my Big Truck, Small Penis song. And a lot of women actually came back at me and they were like, "Man, you are so right. Every time I see one of these guys up in their big truck, I'm like, man, how small is it inverted? Is it like a little dent, like your belly button down there? And you're just pissed off at the world because every time you try to pee, you got to kind of pull it out. Come on. I was like, so yeah, that's right. So all the semi-pros that think we ain't looking, putting big flags on the back of your truck. And here's something else, by the way, Robert. Was it Robert or Bob? What am I calling you?
I'm Bob these days, yeah.
King Bob. All right. Here's something. You ever seen that yellow sticker with the snake? It said, "Don't tread on me."
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We see it a lot down here in the South. Yeah.
Why? Does everybody who puts that on their truck or whatever they're using truck, why do they try to tread on everybody else? This is something that blows my mind. It's like, don't tread on me. Oh, well, it's only about you? What? Don't tread on me supposed to be nobody treads on anybody else. But somebody's there like, you all don't tread on me. You ain't that special. Ain't that special.
Yeah. Everybody's got their own shtick, and leave them alone and just be the best you can be on your own. And not
all this thing about transgender people and whatnot. Come on, man. You either got a good heart or you don't. And if you don't got a good heart, you can be man, woman, or anything in between. But if you got a good heart, man, I feel you. I'm an empath, so I feel people. I also have a strict line against the BS in the world. That's why on my new record, I don't know how deeply you listen, there's a song about how much I care in general, but how much I am done with the BS. It's a song called "I Give a Shit, But I Don't Give a Fuck." And when I wrote that, I really felt like that was the balance, the yin and the yang, the dichotomy of really caring about the world and people in it, but really not caring about the BS that people are throwing, slinging. It's just too much, and too much projection, too much deflection. I got
Yeah,
to call it out.
this is like kind of like more than a diary. It's like a historical document. So if they come back many years later, you go through these 9 releases, and it's basically a time capsule, like what's going on in the world.
That's right.
Be the
That's
best you
right.
could be. Yeah.
And I like that because look, again, I'm a bit ahead of my time. I know people are going to discover all this, and I did it in real time. That was the most important thing, to leave the record that I did this in real time. So when you go back and discover Jimi Hendrix, there's tons of records to hear. You can get into them all at once. You're not waiting for the next Hendrix record. I wish we were. It'd be great to see what Jimi Hendrix would be doing now, like Bob Marley and people like that. What would they have done? But honestly, if the music stands the test of time, if art stands the test of time, that's what matters. I mean, there's a reason why Van Gogh is in every major museum in the world and considered one of the greatest. But there's also a reason, and maybe it's not a reason at all, that he was ignored in his life. I mean, people walk right by Starry Night like, that's cool. What's for lunch? Really? Man, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize it till it was long after. Yeah, I saw a Van Gogh exhibit when I was out there in LA. And
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
like, this is fascinating stuff. Wow. Yeah. So it does take time after the artist has been here.
Well, that
to-
tempers my patience. That tempers my
Yeah.
patience because look, I'm making the music now. I'm doing the work now. I'm trying to put my live band together right now. It's been a little tricky, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
It's hard to find people that gonna come and harmonize with me. Some people don't want to put my words in their mouth. It's okay. Most people that put my words in their mouth have a big smile to go along with it. So it's just a question of finding somebody with the right sense of humor. But in looking for female backup singers, I realized singing songs like "Show Me Your Boobs" and big fat boobies and stuff like that might seem a little. But listen, one thing you got to know, Bob, is, and I think you get this if you listen to my music, I have great
Yeah.
respect for women. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
I'm not in there calling women names and stuff like that. I mean, look, if you're a lot lizard and you're out there servicing truckers, I might call you out on it. But honest day's work is an honest day's work. Whatever job you got, hand, blow,
Yeah.
power to. But I really do have respect for women. So if I write songs that are sexy and salacious, it's like when you're a 20th century man trying to find your way in the 21st century, you're basically looking for a way to be respectful, but also compliment a woman on her bosoms.
Yeah, there's
There's
nothing
gotta be
wrong
an
with that.
in-between. I mean, women have to understand that men have an innate need to profess their love and their attraction. And it's hard for us right now because a lot of things are taken the wrong way. You don't want to say the wrong thing. So I say a lot of things on behalf of other people. So you can put it on and be like, well, he said it, so hey, it must be okay. Or he's saying it for me, right? I like to think in those terms. A lot of guys out there don't have any game. I'm like, let me help you out and put a song on where she's like, oh man, Beau's saying all the things that I like to hear. And now I'm with this guy here. Well, I may as well just jump on him because this mustache ain't coming through town too often.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good advice for those people who need that and need to get out there and understand each other.
I did a whole series on incel dating tips. I'm like, incel? You mean you're involuntarily celibate? Let me tell you something. There's a reason why women don't want to lay you down like a brick sidewalk, son.
Yeah.
And some of these young men, they need to know some of the tenets of how to be a man that is not involuntarily celibate, which means you take care of your personal hygiene, first of all.
Yeah.
You not just talk to a woman, but listen to a woman and regard her as a person with feelings and something to say. You can show your interest in a woman without being a complete horn dog. And I think that most men don't understand that. They watch too much online pornography and they see things just happening. They feel like that's the way it's supposed to happen to me. But they forget that romance, the sapiosexual, comes from the mind. It comes from stimulating a woman. But men could do a lot by just handling one tip from old Beau Nair. Women like to be listened to.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to talk to a woman, you just got to ask her questions to keep her talking. Oh, tell me more. Well, that's very interesting. I never thought that about you. Wow. Well, how did you get into that? And as you're just asking those little questions, you're sitting there and you're nodding, you're listening, and you're taking her all in and how beautiful she is. And she's saying, man, this guy really cares, because he's not sitting here talking about himself. He's not sitting here trying to dominate the conversation. He's literally soaking me up like sunshine. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the night, that's what's going to get you, again, laid like a brick sidewalk. So,
yeah. It's not like those videos that like anybody could stumble on these days. And it's just like they make it look really easy. But you know what? There's a director telling them what to do. And life is not like that. You don't got the director over there saying, hey, yeah, here's where it starts 5 minutes.
No, it ain't. Well, again, we got reality being corrupted by the digital world in a way where people don't know what's real anymore. And some of them out there are in need of a reality check. So I do my part as best as I can. And, I'm not a womanizer. I just happen to attract a lot of the ladies, and I'm cool with that. I'm a silver tiger is what I'm becoming in my adulthood. But young men got to understand that what it's really about, and then they'll feel better because they'll actually get some attention and get some love. And people are either spreading love or needing love, right? It comes to it. Some people are so angry out there, it's hard to look past that and get into the empathy where you're like, this person just was really unloved as a child and had a hard life where they got into some loops in their system, and that's why they're out there spouting off all this nonsense and stuff like that. They just need love. But in the short term, I ain't down with what the lips flapping or spewing out there, so I'm going to let them go find love somewhere else. They can find it in my songs, but I ain't going to be around for that.
Yeah. What the scary thing is like AI. These kind of people are going to turn to that, to even make things even worse. And
I mean, look, if you want to get yourself off to some avatar or whatever instead of bothering some woman in real life, all right, cool, do it. But if you think that AI is going to help your game, what are you going to show up with a list of stuff that AI wrote for you? Oh, ChatGPT told me the 10 things to say to you, young lady. Be like, how about you just talk to me and be a person? Involuntary celibate.
It's crazy.
It's the craziest term. What's your expectation, man?
You put a bad label on yourself when you're saying that. You're just totally setting the limits there, and you're not going to go beyond that.
Look, Bob, you're a handsome dude, and I'm sure you had your time out there. Maybe still do. I don't know if you're married or not, or whatever. I won't get your personal life, but you know as well as I do that it takes some work to get where you need to go. And if a girl's too eager to get there, she might have been too eager with a whole bunch of people, and maybe you catch yourself something you don't need. So it's fine now. I guess it's all what you want. If you don't care and you're just like, just do it to me, baby. Hey, I got a song for that. If you're like, I want a little romance, get to know you. Hey, I got a song for that. If you're like, hey, let's get together and make it all right. I got a song for that. I got music for all occasions. That's what I'm trying to help out there, really, is what I'm doing. You think everything's on just making jokes and stuff, but I'm really trying to help. All threaded in is all the help you need if you're a young man in need of a young lady or an older lady. I don't.
Hey, there are no limits. Just make sure everybody's legal and okay, and everybody's is giving consent. That's a very big thing too in this day and age, is consent.
100%. Look, and look, it's I get it. Young ladies look pretty and stuff like that, but I feel like when you're a young man, what you really need is an older woman. And there's no grooming needed. There's nothing like that. It's just romance. They know what they want. They will take the lead on you. So if you're an involuntary celibate guy, go find yourself like a 47-year-old chick. She'll teach you right. Actually, go find yourself an 87-year-old chick. You want to talk about no grooming, man? You can't groom the elderly because you really don't know how much time you got. You got to get right to it.
Reminds me of this Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man, where he was with an older woman. It was a very hilarious scene in there.
I gotta check that out. Hey, listen. Somebody works their whole life building a skill set, and then they're just sitting there with it. So some of these ladies, they did a lot in their lifetime, but now they're sitting there all alone. Make them feel a little less lonely. Be like, you know what? If you did that your whole life, let's see if you can still do it now, young lady. My friend Bubba told me that he used to go down to the nursing home and get the old man to whack him off. I'm like, are you kidding? He's like, listen, they do that their whole life. Now their peenie don't work, and they still got the skills, and maybe they got a little shake now. So I'm like, you're a sick man, dude. So I'm down to the nursing home.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on. It's taking advantage of the elderly. Not a great idea.
There's no taking advantage of the elderly. There's only giving love where love is lacking. And I feel like if you go down to any nursing home, see a lot of people just sitting around very long. Look, I don't go down and hump the elderly. I go down and play piano for them. I go down take out the old standards. They hear My Funny Valentine, and then they get really wet.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Yeah. Hey, that's good. That's good. Make it exciting. Yeah, because they're stuck in front of the TV. They can't even change the channel. So it's
I say wet. Another person says pee-pee dinner depends. But I really appreciate older people, and I like to do what I can to make them happy. And if it's going to cross that line into something saucy, then I don't know if maybe I am the man to do it. I don't know. Bob, we're going to see. I remember that band Rat had a song, Loving You's a Dirty Job, and I'm the man to do it.
Rat. Wow. I saw them live once. Yeah. What a band.
What a band, man. Back in the day, when they had the lineup, when Robin King Crosby was still alive, rest in peace.
Yeah.
It was a powerful band. Look, you can make fun of hair metal all you want, but when you got that rhythm section, like you did with Bobby Blotzer and Juan Croucier, or like Tesla, when you got Brian Wheat and Troy Luccketta, I think Troy's off the road now, but you got a certain rhythm section that when you see it live, it makes sense. It's like, that's the feel. That's what's going on. Like when you see Zebra and you realize that
I remember them.
Guy Gelso on the drums is an amazing drummer. And bass, Felix Hanneman, is that who's on the bass?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember them back in the day.
They're still around.
Yeah.
But when you got the original rhythm section from a band like a Rat or anybody, Motley Crue, anybody, that's the real deal. That's what it's supposed to feel like. So even if, you can say it's lightweight, but okay, maybe Bobby Dahl and Ricky Rocket ain't the end all be all going to knock Billy Cobham and Gary King off the charts, but I still think that the original feel is there. And when you replace it, it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. Another takeoff on an album titled Appetite for Seduction.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there you go. It's like, it's got some good ones on there too. It's I like that play on words.
That's, obviously, like you, I came up in the heavy metal world and stuff a little bit. I mean, I listen to a lot of music, but you can't escape things like Guns N' Roses or Pink Floyd. But with Appetite for Seduction, as the songs came together, and I wrote the song Appetite for Seduction, I realized that was going to have to be the title because at this point in my journey, I locked myself in my cabin, in my studio, and just went to work. So after a while, when you don't have any female company, man, I get it out there, lonely gentlemen. You get horny. So it started coming out in my songs. And so really that eighth record, Appetite for Seduction, man, I was hornier than a brass section. And it was really time for me to put those songs out. So if you listen to that record, there's songs on there that are downright romantic. And it's just a hint of sleaze, but just enough to grace the top like a cinnamon bun or something.
So where you get your inspiration, what's a day in the life like for you? Just getting up and just you come up with lyric ideas, you run to your phone and just start taking down notes.
It can happen many different ways. Look, sometimes I'm at the piano and I'm playing and something comes out. Sometimes I do have a word will come out or a line or a little phrase and be like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I got to do that. Or sometimes it's a little melody. Maybe I'm picking on the bass. Sometimes I lay down some funk ideas, right? And then I'll lay them all down, little short funk ideas on the bass. And I'll come back fresh later. And I'll be listening through. I'll be like, all right, okay, this one's cool. Let's stop next one. All right. Oh. And I start singing something along and be like, oh, join our lawns in ecstasy. Oh, man, there it is. Bam. So I wrote a song called Ecstasy. I realized there's a drug out there called ecstasy. I ain't never taken it. Ain't never going to take it. I'm like, you remember Jeffrey Holder and the 7-Up commercials? Never had it. Never will.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much.
I never done cocaine. I never done ecstasy. I stick to weed and mushrooms. That's pretty much it. I guess hashish is in the middle there, but yeah, I really stick to just herbs and mushrooms. That's it. That's it. And it's in my life that takes the cake. That's all that I need. And really, when it comes down to it, I don't get on anybody. You take your journey, take your psychedelic journeys, whatever. I just never needed to snort anything. You might have heard on my recent record the song "Coffee is My Cocaine."
Yeah.
And weed is my dope. Everybody has their dope. Weed is my dope. I ain't got no.
Yeah, takes the edge off. It's weed is taking the edge off. I'm glad that the states are most states are getting behind it, and
they're getting it.
Okay.
It's like the poor man's speedball. You got the coffee up, and the weed you just balance right there in the middle. So this is what's happening now. But after we're done, oh man,
the coffee goes on, and relax with the old THC. Yeah,
it doesn't relax me so much. It gets me very uppity. It's actually more uppity than anything. I don't go for the couch like indica, but people say to me, Beau Nair, are you recommending that people go out and smoke weed and take mushrooms and drink a whole bunch of coffee? I'm just setting a great example of how fantastic your life can be if you do that. I don't need to go out and proselytize. I just need to show, again, let the music do the talking, Joe Perry.
That's what works for you. Yeah, the Coke, I can't understand that. That was big in the 70s. I don't know how people concentrated and got anything done. It must
and
have
alcohol.
Been
I mean, but think about this, Bob, you're an educated gentleman. If you go on the DEA drug scheduling list and you look at all the schedules of drugs, number one, man, don't take it. It's illegal. We're going to come and arrest you. And number 5 or 6 being like aspirin. You will not find nicotine, and you will not find alcohol. 2 of the most prevalent drugs that we got. You won't find them there. Why? Because if they had to actually schedule them where they belong, we'd have to change the way they are functioning in our society. And I think that a lot of the powers that be, like the alcohol, it's like deadens people, you know?
Yeah. You know, I was watching that movie on TCM, Days of Wine and Roses. You talk about nicotine and alcohol all over the place. Jack Lemmon. It's like he's a great actor, but yeah, the alcohol. It's all about alcoholism. It's like, yeah, that thing can really drive you into a straitjacket. Like
I guess if you kind of get into it when you're young, and then you like cigarettes, you just hooks you. And I just never found it interesting. Stinky cigarettes and people getting drunk and sloppy all over the place. I like to keep my wits about me.
Yeah, I remember the days of cigarettes growing up with that. And now it's like really expensive, like $100 a box or something like that. But back in the day, gosh, I mean, people were just filthy, just constantly chain smoking.
I mean, I have to explain that to people, who are younger. Like, yeah, people used to smoke in the movies a lot, and people used to drink a lot. But you also go back to the mid 20th century, and all men had short hair and wore hats and suits, and all women wore dresses, and people didn't just express themselves. Everybody kind of looked around and said, oh, that's how we're all supposed to look. And then David Bowie comes out like, ta-da! People are like, you could do that with yourself? He was like, just did. So I think when it comes down to it, being the best version of yourself is what it's all about. And if I'm going to live my best life, I'm going to set my example by living. I ain't going to preach to anybody, but there's a lot of advice and information in my songs that'll come to you with repeated listenings where you're like, man, I get it now, Beau Nair.
Yeah. You get that in Freedom and Liberty. What a track, huh? How about that?
And
Anyway,
in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm going to shoot the official video for Freedom and because that's a song a lot of people missed out on that because I wasn't able to do the video in the moment because I was working on the record. I had to finish mixing it. It's like crazy because I was working on the next record, 22 songs. Can't even imagine my life during that period of time. It's kind of weird now that I'm done mixing songs, but Freedom and Liberty is a song I wrote. Look, we're in a world of people talk about cancel culture and woke and whatnot. I ain't being canceled, but I am kind of testing the limits. I want to see how far we can go. I want to see what's too much. I don't know. I mean, I ain't doing it just to do it, but as I said in my song Freedom and Liberty, there's a lot of things that you're supposed to be free to say. Don't tread on me, right? Freedom of speech, First Amendment. I did a video the other day that the Constitution of the United States, the First Amendment, covers drag shows. That's all I said. People are like, oh, groomer, pet. I was like, What are you talking about? I just made a point that it's freedom of expression covered under the First Amendment that people team around. But the people who are so First Amendment are the first ones trying to ban stuff.
Yeah.
And then you look in the news and pastor after pastor, youth church group after youth church group. We got pedophiles and groomers left and right, and they're all trying to ban drag shows. Go stand in front of a freaking church.
Yeah.
Because you just got to look at the news. How many people can be misinformed out there based on just confirmation bias of what they feel like they want to feel or see? It's just after a while, you butt heads with reality too much, and it doesn't seem to bother them. They got hard heads. We're about to see a lot more of that with what's his face getting arrested and indicted. Hey, man, I'm into accountability. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or the alien party from Spaghetti Planet.
Oh, yeah.
You are breaking the law. If you are doing things that are nefarious and underhanded and you hurt other people, you deserve to go down. So it ain't about picking a party. It ain't about being political. It's about accountability. And going back to the Constitution, liberty and justice for all. And then there's a period. There ain't no asterisk. There ain't no but. It's for all. So if liberty is going to be for all, then stop fucking with people. And if justice is going to be for all, then step out of the way and let justice shine, because that's what the bedrock and the principles of our nation are built upon. But the people walking out there with, I got a copy of the Constitution in my pocket. Doesn't need to be rewritten. It needs to be reread. Well, fucking reread it, motherfuckers, because what you're doing is wrong. And accountability needs to happen so people know that there ain't one set of rules for the rich and entitled people and another set of rules for all of us people down here on planet Earth, right? So I think it's important for people to step back and recognize the amount of bullshit that they're spewing out of their mouth, and it's a stinky thing. It's my 2 cents, maybe 3 cents. I think I laid out there.
America is still the great experiment, and that's the whole greatest thing about it. It's a fluid document, never been done in other places on this planet. So it's like it's the human being with
I
their
have faith
freedom.
This next generation, Generation Z, they're built differently. They don't see the color the same way. They don't see skin color. They're living in, you remember probably back in the day, United Colors of Benetton. They had ads where they had like 6 or 7 different people in a row and all had slightly different skin color. And it was basically saying, like Jimmy Cliff, we all are one. We are the same person. I'll be you, you be me. Back then, that was like, wow. Now that's like waiting in line at the store. It's everybody, especially here in Los Angeles. Maybe if you live in the middle of the country in the deep South, you have a little bit more of like a 3-category existence. Out here, you don't know what anybody is. You could be half Filipino, half Scottish with a little bit of Pacific Islander thrown in. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I like it all. I like the fact that everybody out here is starting to look a little more individualistic. And then we don't have that problem where everybody's on groups and teams, get that team warfare. Again, I go back to the word united.
The
United States of America. Not to get political. It's just a fact. It's in the title, united. So anybody's like, our state needs to do states' rights, federal oversight of all that, a federal law that says we all are the same. That's what United States is about. Not this United States. It's not about having a national divorce and a civil war.
That representative is not too far from where I'm living. That's wow. I think it's just trying to just play to certain people and say, let's have a national divorce. Isn't what the Civil War was all about? It was a national divorce. Not a great idea.
Not a great idea. I think even though it's inflammatory, hyperbolic, all this kind of stuff, I think at the end of the day, that ain't that many people. And the vast majority of Americans here in America just want to live and feed their family and do stuff. What amazes me too is, and I've seen this in numerous administrations, a lot of people point fingers at the president for the gas prices and for the food price and stuff like that. We are a corporatocracy run by corporations. And there are too many people in both parties that are beholden to these corporate interests. So I get when people say things like both parties are the same, but we've seen way too much nowadays to say that both parties are actually the same. But in that corporate, interest kind of, people need to feel that they're being stood up for. However, whenever a politician goes to try to stand up for the people, the other side says socialism. That's socialism. Come on, man. You can't believe that the Constitution of the United States talking about establishing a more perfect union and domestic tranquility and providing for the common defense and promoting the general welfare. Let's get into a whole discussion about promoting the general welfare and what that means, because, that sounds a little socialistic if you frame it like that, but it's really just promoting the general welfare. How happy and healthy are the people? And they ain't too healthy, and many of them ain't too happy. So I'm going to bring the joy and hopefully show them that you don't need to be a drunken coke snorter to have a lot of fun. And let's see if we can take the wheel and swerve it into a better lane.
Yeah. Boy, that is so true. It's so true. Well, it's great that you have all these albums that have come out. It's just and can you get them all in one package? Where can we find all your
they're all streaming online or wherever you download music. I just made it so anywhere where people go to Spotify, the Apple Music, the Amazon Music, or whatever, Deezer, whatever these places are, it's all going to be there. And I recognize that most people don't pay to download records. I'd like to actually print my stuff up on vinyl at some point, but right now I just want it out there for people to ingest and gestate and marinate on. And then when I get my live band together and come out and do some shows, I'm going to show people what's going on, because honestly, Bob, again, I go back to that, let the music do the talking. I'm a boogie woogie piano player. That's what I do. And I play bass like a mofo because that's what I do. I lay it down. I love the funk. So if I go play live and I whip out some boogie woogie piano playing, that is something that in this modern age of digital trickery and fakery and AI and all stuff, you cannot fake the funk and you cannot fake playing the piano. And so if I'm going to come out and be real, I'm going to be real. And I'm going to do it in a way where it's undeniable. So anybody else that I could possibly get compared to, they ain't even going to be on the level when I finally emerge and show what I got. So I'm just making my way in the world. Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. You know that.
Oh, yeah, don't I?
And until everybody knows my name, I ain't stopping.
So if you hit the road, are you going to go all over the States or in the world even?
Well, I think what it's about nowadays is you got to build demand, and then you got to service that demand. So I already did that with the ladies, and now I got to do it with the music. Seriously, I really feel like I have some great musicians together. It's just a question of putting on a show that I can put on film. This is what I've been told by a lot of people. They want to see it, booking agents and different people, festivals and stuff like that. I'm like, all right. So right now that I've finished these records, I mean, literally 119 songs, a lot of work in the last 9-10 months. I now I'm turning to getting this live show together, filming some videos. I'm going to go out and do a little man on the street stuff, talk to some people out there in the world. Look, a lot of my videos, I'm in my studio because I'm taking breaks between mixing and working and recording and writing and doing all this stuff. I'm a one-man show, one-man band, a one-man extravaganza. And now I got to bring other people in and make this come out. And my drummer, bass player, replacing myself on bass is a little tricky.
Yeah, got to teach them all your chords. That's for sure.
Well, I played. Look, I used to love when I grew up. I'd get these funk records and somebody would be grooving, and there'd be one little part where they do a little cool thing, and I always loved those little cool things. So I figured, I'm just gonna put all those cool things in my songs. So every moment you're just like, what is going on with this bass player? Coffee and weed is what's going on. But no, seriously, I just went nuts. So the guitar and the drums are kind of the straight man in the band. The bass player just goes haywire. And then when I'm on the boogie woogie piano, I go kind of haywire too. And it can all match our wires. But really, when it comes down to it, I set a high bar for the bass. So I got a guy, I don't want to say his name, but he's going to hopefully funk it up with me and make it happen. And then once I get a live show together, I put some videos out so people can see it. and then people know what they're going to book because it's going to be exciting because it ain't just for the country music market. I mean, I'd like to be on some of these jam festivals and really take it out, maybe get a guitar and shred it up. I'm ready to go out and funk the people. And I like the idea of being like a fish out of water and playing at places where it's like, oh, this one country guy's playing. What's this all about? And then I come out and funk everybody to the ground and leave everybody just drenched in sweat and booty juice. So coming soon.
It's the booty where it all starts. Funktry. It's your own. You own that.
It smells as good as my mustache.
That's very good. Well, thanks for joining me today. This has been
I love
fantastic. Yeah,
this is great.
Absolutely.
And any other questions, Bob, that I can answer? I mean, I realize I do a lot of talking.
Yeah. No, that's great. Good stories there and everything. As far as like your piano playing and all of that, how did you learn how to do all that? Are you self-taught?
I'm self-taught. Coming up as a youngster and traveling around with my pappy, he was on the road all the time. I still am a little unclear of some of the things that he was doing as far as the business, but I just went with him wherever he went. I was away from my mammy most of the time, but Pappy Nair took me to some pretty awesome places. So we go visit these barrel houses and saloons and different stuff. And he'd always get me in because I was his kid and it was cool and stuff like that. And I didn't have the mustache and stuff like that, but people understood that I'm with the man and I'm going to be the man. So I'd go in and there'd be piano players in there playing. And also some places had, older music that I hadn't really heard yet. And so when I listen to people like Roosevelt Sykes, the Honey Dripper, when I listen to James Booker, and I hear these people, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, I need to dip my fingers in this. So I got around every piano that I could. And some of these pianos on the road, broken key here or there, way out of tune, you kind of go to war with the armor you got. But I learned by doing it. And then I'd find some of these older cats on the road and sit at their elbow and just watch what they're doing and ask them afterwards, hey, how did you do that one thing on the left hand, stuff like that? And I built my bag of tricks. And then, just a lifetime of being a curious listener and being interested in it. And I feel like for a long time, being a boogie woogie piano player is like making buggy whips in the age of the automobile. But as with most great things, it's about to come back around because I'm going to come out and play and nobody's going to be able to catch up because you can't start now. I'm already way ahead. So maybe, just maybe, I'm going to bring piano playing back into the world by just coming out and kicking everybody's ass. And then, who's going to come up and top that? Nobody. Who's going to come up and duel with me? Nobody. I mean, there's a lot of great piano players out there, but in the country realm,
they're
going to be calling me to play on their records. Actually, that's one of the things, Bob, that's really interesting. A couple of studios had inquired about having me come and play piano, and then the clients didn't want to have anything too fancy because they couldn't find somebody to hire to go out and play it on the road. I ain't going out and playing with another band or like a sideman or hustle or something like that. But they were like, man, it's too good for the record. We need somebody to dumb it down. I was like, well, I ain't going to come in and dumb it down for you. You go find some schmo that needs to work. And hey, a lot of people, I don't want to call everybody a schmo. There's a lot of people coming up that need to work and power to them. I'm going to give it to them. If what I'm doing is too fancy for you, that's okay. I can play very simple. I can take it way down. Some of my songs you hear, I'm just playing some nice chords and doing some nice things. I can do that. But I just thought those requests were kind of funny where it's like, they can't reproduce what you do on the road. So if they put it on the record, people are going to expect to hear it on the road and then they can't do it because they can't find anybody that can do what you do. I said, that's what makes me Beau Nair.
An original, definitely. Thanks for dropping by. Great releases, Truth or Nair, Bodacious, Nearly There. These are great titles.
And Life is Beautiful, my new one. Yes,
Life
I pronounced it. Life is Beautiful. Because once I came upon that, it just wrapped it all up with a nice bow. This ain't my last record, but I had to do 9 in a row. And then we'll see what happens in the future. Right now, I got to concentrate on the live show, doing the videos. You're going to get out and do the Freedom and Liberty video, and then a couple others, and we're going to have some fun, my friend.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you out there on the road.
Well, if I come to your town or anywhere near you, you're coming out to the show, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Listen to some live Funktry. Well, thanks for stopping. Yeah, thanks for stopping by here today.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good one. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. We'll catch up again sometime soon, all right?
We'll do it again. Take care.
Rock on. Beau Nair.
Bye-bye.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom? Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.